All right, guys, good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where you're watching the stream from. I'm super excited for today. Let's see what we can harvest from the market. Let me check if we have a few people watching already. Nice, nice to have you here. Discord, we already have a few members watching the stream. This morning on Discord, I can show that quickly. Here during the London session. Right now I'm not really interested in going long. I would like to see the positive 1 standard deviation to be hit before I engage. I will likely, just be waiting for the New York Open. I mean, what do you want to do if price is just bullet? There we go. Alright, so London Open, or London Kill Zone. I just looked at the charts this morning and I saw, okay, we have equal highs at Asia buy side right here. We sort of have trendline liquidity. We can see that above each and every of those highs we can expect, buy stops resting for the shorts. And usually what we do if we have such a nice trendline liquidity during Asia, already being above the previous day's high, yesterday's FOMC news high, we could have sort of anticipated, especially once I saw the SMT divergence with NQ. Yes, actually took out the Asian session low right here, the 8 p.m. low. We got the pullback, and then what I was looking for really was that head and shoulders, the inverted setup right here. We already saw that we perfectly respected the bullish fair value gap down here. We had a inversion fair value gap right from the left, and once we closed above it, we kept holding support beautifully. Right here we also had a new bullish fair value gap, and if we really just take a close look at the bullish fair value gap and get rid of all that other noise, we can see that we did not get a close below it. Yes, we wicked and we did some damage that might have fooled a few people prior to the London Open at 4 a.m. New York local time because of that winter summertime switch. Took out stops. Then prior to the London Open, just prior to that, we got a nice expansion above the midnight level right here, this dashed line, leaving behind a new bullish fair value gap. We repriced that. We were bouncing off the VWAP and this accumulation area. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And right around this time, I was mentioning at 3 a.m. New York local time, if we check out the Discord and we go over here to the VIP section and look at the tape reading, this morning at 8:07, which is 3 a.m. New York local time, right at this stage here where I already saw, okay, I'm getting in here. I add more size on the retracement. I said target longs towards the equal highs. Very simple. And then I compared it to NQ because here we saw NQ didn't take out the slow, bounced off the fair value gap already up here at this midnight level, also looked relatively strong here. Then I shared the trendline liquidity setup. I'm already in with 3 contracts, just targeting long trendline liquidity, usually taken very quickly, many stops slightly above each high. Prior to the London Open, keeping everyone up to date, I took a partial already on that midnight level. And yeah, put the take profit trader account in decent profit. I was listening heard this trader, making money is so difficult. Friend, you have it wrong. How? Making money is easy, holding on to it is difficult. Good stuff, Ryan. Can totally agree to it. That's why I likely won't be trading my funded account today. Good morning, Wef. Nice to see you again here. So my take profit trader funded account, it's going pretty well. It's up 2K. This week I played it low. I secured most of my profits always after 5 points. A green week, up 850 bucks. Can't really complain about that. And yeah, that's the TPT account. Looking at trader weight, we're starting to get a slight pullback, but not really interested in that. I have 2 Apex accounts where I only take micro scalps because I already got them above the profit target. The livestream account, and I need a couple more trading days. That's already done. And yeah, really not interested in getting more Apex accounts. At this point in time, I will just hook them up with the inbuilt trade copier and continue trading these funded accounts. I really want to get this Take Profit Trader funded account going though, because right now with Take Profit Trader you don't have to pay the $130 activation fee, which is a big saving compared to Apex where you always have to pay that fee. So this was the London session setup that we took this morning on our Discord into Asia buy side. I mean, if you saw it coming, and by if I mean this, then good on ya. Well done, holding on to the trade. I got out after 6 points. Making money is easy, holding on to it is harder. Like, I don't know. Just so many cases where I saw that once we take Asia buy side, we reverse. So I'm content with enough. And yeah, secured my profits when they have been made available. Trendline liquidity, we talked about that. We're above our previous day's high. This is our daily opening, the daily opening VWAP, the SMT divergence with NQ. Let me just clean up my charts a little bit. We took Asia buy side. What indicators do I have turned on? The standard deviations. I will talk about more about that later on in the stream. We've got the VWAP on here. This is a new add-on. I pushed a version 1.1 update into the ICT all-in-one indicator. I had to remove macros, the ICT macros, because they really just slowed the indicator down by so much. You wouldn't believe it. And it also, didn't allow, for example, to go to a 1 hour time frame with the indicator. It always gave an error. That's also because of the ICT macros indicator. I'm working on a fix, but still, even if you're on an hourly time frame, you would like to see this entire layout, and then you can really see what each session throughout the day did. If you have your previous day high, previous day slow turned on, you see these orange lines, your daily divider. The beginning of every week, marked by Sunday, this blue area right here. The red lines represent the previous week high, and we see that on ES here actually, we already took out that previous day's high, which would have been last Tuesday's high. We have more daily buy side liquidity resting here, so I'm simply using that easy overview to mark out some daily buy side. This is a daily high. More daily buy side would come at a positive 2.5 standard deviation. Here on ES, that's very, very, very rare. Doesn't often happen. And we're about to hit a positive 1. That's where I would honestly look for a reversal paired with this daily buy side liquidity. If we go to the daily, I'm hiding the indicator there because it doesn't make much sense. Looking at it on this time frame, let me clean that up. I'm back on ES1. That's the reason why. Daily bearish fair value gaps, we have them on our chart. Daily buy side. Daily bearish fair value gap. Middle line with a little volume imbalance that we're bumping into as we're speaking. There we go. Let's label this as a volume imbalance, get rid of the middle line, and another daily bearish fair value gap right here. We already took out the previous week's high, last Tuesday's high. So we have all that on our chart now. Bearish fair value gap, middle line. And yeah, price has been pretty bullish after taking out that sell side. Currently, if we look at our current PD array, we measure from the low to the high of our last expansion to the downside. I'm marking out the PD array, and it disappeared because I have the settings set to not display it on a daily time frame. We can see we're currently above the 50% where we really would look for buy side liquidity being taken in a premium for the continuation lower. We will see about all that, but we want to keep that in mind. We're above the 50%. Now we drop it down. order block would come in up here. Let's check out the 4-hour time frame. We have the buy side liquidity marked out. We have our daily bearish fair value gaps. We could also use the ICT all-in-one indicator to show us the daily bearish fair value gaps, but I still like to draw some things on the chart. That's why, yeah. But for things like a previous week's high, previous day's low, VWAP, the daily divider, the new day and new week opening gap, the regular trading hours opening gap as well. It's very, very handy too, especially if you're on your phone, being able to turn on and off what you want to see. All right, let's drop it down to the 1 hour. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. We have our buy side liquidity. Days ending right here. Previous week's high, we don't really have to label that because we have our red line here. We're inside the daily bearish fair value gap right here. We have the daily buy side liquidity marked on our chart. Let's also label this here, daily buy side liquidity. Put that at the top. Daily bearish fair value gap. Daily volume imbalance. We talked about the London SMT divergence, about the setup that I shared on the Discord with all the members. Just getting ready here prior to the New York Open. Not really looking forward to take a trade. I don't really have an account that I feel comfortable taking a trade at all, to be really honest. Depends if we see a nice clean 2022 model, I maybe take that. If not, it's going to be paper trading for me today. I don't really see the sense of getting another Apex account funded. Right now at least. We started one last week, Tuesday during the live stream. That one's above the profit target. Hang on, let me log into my Apex. This one is above 53 and the other one is above 53 as well. That's all done. The take profit trader account is $1,000 away. And like Ryan said very beautifully here on the Discord, making money is so difficult. Now you have it wrong. Making money is easy. Holding on to it is difficult. You already had your win, and I spoke about that too. Where do we see that? That was the obvious draw on liquidity, the Asian session high. After you got one right, it's wise to stop, because then you entered in that state where you think like, okay, I've got the first one right, I gotta be right about the second one, and I'm maybe looking for a short, and you got completely wrecked. And yeah, usually if price runs like that, you either join the continuation or yeah, you don't trade at all. You got it right once, secure your profit, you're done, and it's as simple as that. So I'm gonna be logging into my Apex paper trading account. We upgraded that yesterday to a 52,457 balance. If we look at the account history, those were the two shorts that we took right here at the end of the New York AM session, the retracement prior to FOMC. Yeah, and let's see what we are working with today. We had unemployment claims at 8:30. Our daily range from the low of this candle right here to the high is 40 points. We have daily buy side liquidity and the positive 1 standard deviation above us. Well, I would really look for shorts. We have our daily bearish volume imbalance that could potentially hold resistance. An old daily bearish fair value gap, but we've already spent lots of time above that. So really, looking at this on a lower time frame, we already closed above it a couple of times. 1, 2, and maybe with that next 15-minute candle as well. It's gonna be the 9 AM 15-minute candle, and we get the New York Open in 15 minutes. Tell me guys, do you have taken any trades so far today? Did you catch the continuation? Yes, no. You can also share the screenshot here and I can take a look at that. Let me check on Discord. Marley, cool. You took any trades so far today? Not everyone's able to trade the London session. I get that. We will see. I will pop back to the YouTube chat afterwards. So we did our entire markup. Let's take a quick look at NQ. We're looking at the exact same thing here. Let me modify this one and put it 40 points to the side. Very similar, but with the difference that we already spoke about. The London session SMT divergence, because on ES we can clearly see that we took out the Asia kill zone low right here. On NQ we did not. That was one of the main reasons I was initially looking for the longs. Played out very well. We hit the positive 0.5 standard deviation, retraced, continued to push above it, 8 AM, 8:30 opening. Right here, this is our 8:30, this little dashed line. Perfectly overlapping really with the 50% of this daily bearish fair value gap. Looking at that, so I'm gonna get rid of it. It's just gonna be confusing. We can't really label it as a inversion fair value gap because the daily, where this fair value gap is coming from, didn't close above it yet. So really, let me turn on a few more labels. Open positive 0.5. No, let's leave it like that. We have everything important on our chart. Even bother taking out session liquidity. So right here, that's where I'd say the majority of stops are placed. They likely trailed it with them being in this long. Not sure if we're gonna get something like a 2022 model. Now we're maybe forming the retracement. We get one last push up, displacement, pullback, maybe into this liquidity. We will see. Markets are rather bullish after the FOMC news release that yesterday. Also the crypto market. Yeah, but that's really all we can look at here on NQ, to be honest. We took out the positive one, we took out the previous week's high. If we look at it on a lower time frame, we're now starting to pull back. Can't really call it a reversal just yet. The inversion model wouldn't have worked. If we look at it on a 1 minute, pretty sure we could have found a market structure shift, and there we have it. So right here we had our 2022 model prior to the New York Open. Bearish market structure shift paired with two bearish fair value gaps and the breaker block for the continuation lower at the high of the day after taking out a higher time frame point of interest, which would have been the previous week's high. Entry would have come right after 9 AM and already ran 25 points here on NQ, continuing lower, likely going to fill that 8:30 opening inefficiency. I'm gonna keep a look on it, but on a higher time frame for NQ. I mainly focus on ES. Let's check that out on a 5-minute time frame. We have 11 minutes until the opening. So that sell side liquidity that stands out. These perfect equal lows. First of all, let's get rid of that. That's annoying. Of our daily volume imbalance, and we kept respecting that perfectly as well on a 5-minute time frame. We have sell side liquidity right here. Sell side with these perfect equal lows. We have our session lows. We already took out the Asian session lows, so really just looking mainly at the London session low right here for sell side. Only the most obvious ones. We could expect sell side below any of these lows. Let's also check out trend lines. If we see a half. This looks pretty good. 1 touch, 2 touches, 3, 4. I'm gonna leave that on the chart. Yes, I use trend lines. I also used them during Asia when I caught a long. Bam bam, we closed above, consolidated. It helps you to see what retail is likely doing. That's why I like to have them on my chart. And what else? What do I want to do? I want to look at the PD array from the low, which came in right here on that opening candle to the high. And then we see that 50% of the current premium discount array for the daily candle would come in right here at 4277.5. So really, before I go long, I really want to see a repricing into sell side liquidity below 50% for the continuation higher. Really looking for shorts somewhere up here. If we get them with the New York Open, it would be nice to see a 5-minute setup. I would take that on my take profit trader account into sell side liquidity above the previous week's high, because that's what price likes to do. We take out external liquidity above previous week's high and pull back into internal. And while I'm speaking, I want to turn off the New York kill zone box. I do not need to see that while being in the kill zone. I like to see them for the current day, London session range, Asia session range, and New York is still forming, so I don't need to see that box trying to. Let's see, power of 3 indicator, 40 ticks away already. Got a representation of what the daily candle looks like right now. Check out the 1-minute time frame if we saw a similar market structure shift setup. Market structure shift for me personally really would have come with the close. Yeah, we got one below the slow. Paired with a nice little bearish fair value gap. We filled that to the tick and delivered lower. We already took some sell side. Next sell side would come in within this 8:30 inefficiency. Let's see what we do around the 9:30 opening. If we just gonna collapse, okay, so be it. I would like to see this as a retracement for a next push up higher, and then followed by a displacement for me to engage. We could also just see 2 scenarios: pump and dump, pull back towards the 50%, or that's scenario number 2, where we make higher highs and higher lows, touch the +1 standard deviation, retrace and continue lower. So those are both bearish scenarios. We will see what the New York Open will do with price. Or of course the bullet scenario, but I'm not really looking forward to take longs at the high of the week, high of the day, high of the session right now. Doesn't make sense to me. I don't want to buy high and sell it back even higher. Probability for that is lower if you are at the high of the day. But also an entry prior to the 9:30 open for a short. Sometimes it works. We saw it working on, I think, Monday or Tuesday. Perfect setup. I also alerted that on the Discord server. I would prefer a little bit more structure being put in place. We retrace maybe to the previous week's high, hit the +1, and then maybe on the 1 minute we will see some structure being put in. We displace, retest, and we continue lower. Could also see a nice pullback towards the VWAP. You can see that the VWAP usually acts as our baseline. We saw that during the last couple live streams. That's why I always have it on my chart. Yeah, all right. What's the time? 25. I'm quickly going to the bathroom. Let's see if we have any questions. Stop loss on 121. Nice. That's a VWAP Justus. And Fay TV, good morning. Nice to see you again. Traded after you in the morning, but didn't hold on. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, if your goal is to always catch these monster trades, you're gonna be disappointed more times than you would be if you simply, yeah, can live with what's enough, really. So if you always look for these monster trades, you're gonna get them sometimes, but more often than not, you're only gonna get the liquidity rate, and then we pull back, very tedious, and I don't know, I'm not a fan of getting married to my trades. They have one single purpose, to make me money. My daily profit target is $250 for the 50k accounts. If I hit that, I'm done. I mean, who makes $250 in a couple of hours? Being completely honest, maybe some doctors, but yeah, like Ryan said on the Discord, making money is not the hard part, but holding on to it most of the time is. Because after that first trade, you feel not invincible, but let's say you're, yeah, I don't know how to say that. Anyway, I'm going to the bathroom. I will be back shortly. Let's check out. I get to the questions afterwards. Let's watch price here on the 5-minute. All right. 1.5 minutes left before New York opens up. Let's get to a few more questions. No questions on Discord. Let me check out Google. The monthly live stream access only comes with the live stream access. So if you're only interested in the live streams, then yeah, that's covered in the live stream access membership. And if you're interested more in the analysis and all that other stuff, that's included with the VIP membership, where you get the all-in-one package. Alright, let's see. We've got the indicator loaded. I'm gonna turn on the new feature, the regular trading hours opening gap, which is gonna be pretty huge if we think about it. Yesterday, we closed 1630 right here. So we can pretty much measure a regular trading hours opening gap from here all the way to where price is right now. So in 15 seconds, we're gonna see that gap being displayed. Give it a little bit of time. Fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the ride. $9.30, and here the indicator already delivers our gap, just like we expected. A very big gap, maybe gonna be filled. We have the 50% level lining up with first sell side in a discount. Let's see if it ends up being a retracement. I'm gonna turn off the power of 3 indicator. I don't need it right now. After a while of trying to picture what the daily candle looks like. Yeah, I don't think that it's gonna be much more of a help. Right, rejected off the +1 deviation. Here on the 5-minute time frame, not really a market structure shift visible. We pulled back in some higher time frame fair value gaps, while ES is pushing up higher above the daily volume imbalance, represented by this shaded box. You could also use simply the multi-time frame volume imbalance right here. Scroll down into the settings and select the daily time frame. You want to see, let's see the last 10 ones, and then you click on extend all the volume imbalances to the right. Then we see the indicator pops up with all the daily time frame volume imbalances. We have a new one right here. Let's see what other ones we have. Right here we had a daily bearish volume imbalance. So most of the time we hesitated until yesterday FOMC. Now 8:30 news. Close above, kept holding support. Yeah, just very easy, especially if you're on your phone and you can't be bothered doing all the charting. Alright, let's take a look at NQ. So we already see a divergence between both indices. ES is about to take the high, took the high, that's done. Short-term high cleared. Currently at a new high. Want to see a rejection around the +1 standard deviation. 1 minute time frame, let's watch that. Usually not the best sign, seeing both of the indices doing opposite things. While right here we perfectly rejected from that +1 deviation. Now bouncing on the 8:30 level, but the main momentum right here initially is bearish, while the main momentum starting from 9:30 is looking more bullish than bearish. There we go, we've got our lines on our chart. We now hit the +1 standard deviation. Volume imbalance, and we immediately get that push up higher like we wanted to see. Retracement, continuation. Let's see if we really want to target this daily bearish fair value gap and this daily buy side liquidity. Keep an eye on NQ. NQ is really indecisive here. Wait for more confirmation. 4304, we're at a 000 level, a 00 level, 300. Take a quick look at NQ. NQ might now also be pushing. We will see. We didn't clear the daily buy side liquidity just yet. And if you're looking for longs up here, I don't really think that's the smart thing to do, honestly. Kind of in some market maker buy model. Consolidation, expansion, retracement, a very strong and aggressive one. Tomorrow we have NFP news. We don't have any more news on the schedule for today. Let me quickly check Forex Factory. Thursday, no unemployment claims. I have orange folders turned on. Let's look at yellow folders if we have anything. 10 a.m. factory orders and natural gas storage, but who cares about that? I don't. And tomorrow we have the average hourly earnings, the non-farm employment change, the unemployment rate, and at 10 a.m. the ISM services PMI. I won't be trading tomorrow following NFP protocol, not even a London session. I'm pretty happy with the profits I made on the account today. After initial bad start on the take profit trade account, I recovered it during week 2, and week 3 was really all about that consistency, sticking to the rules, looking for my setup and executing on that. Very clean. Let's see, we're still holding up below this daily buy side liquidity pool. Now we got the push, we took that out, bouncing off this highest bullish value gap, just catching on with the momentum. NQ, first 5-minute candle, 9:30 candle, ended up as a down closing candle, while on ES, pretty much the exact opposite. Continue to push higher here. This could have been a tiny little scalp, but yeah, high risk at the high of the day. All depends what you're really looking for, what your system or model is. My favorite model, no, I don't want to say the only one, is simply market structure shift reversal, head and shoulders, whatever you want to call it, 2022 model. NQ still didn't take out the high, so right now we have SMT divergence between both of them. I'm gonna mark out 10 a.m. here, the new hourly candle and new 4-hour candle. Keep that in mind. 10 a.m. for futures is a new 4-hour candle. So we get a 4-hour candle close, a 1-hour candle close, 15, 5, 1, everything that's easily divided by 5 really. New 4-hour candle brings in higher time frame traders, 4-hour momentum, 1-hour momentum, 1-hour time frame traders. That's our opening range for ES as well, from 9:30 until 10:30 so far. Decent expansion. We're inside our daily bearish fair value gap now. The 50% level comes in at 4317, so we're 10 points away from that. Up here we would see the positive 1.5 standard deviation. We rarely hit them, especially without news events. Sometimes during NFP news we do like to run very well. We didn't saw it yesterday during FOMC, but yeah, if you're here for entries, I mean, you won't see me taking a long opportunity. Maybe if we get a nice displacement even on the 1 minute, I'd consider taking that. But NQ 1 minute time frame, initially we consolidated, kind of a 6 sister setup here potentially for NQ longs. I don't trade NQ personally, I only focus on ES. We keep on making these volume imbalances, pushing up higher. Right now it's, I think, the best choice to sit back and relax. We're not here on a chase, we're patiently stalking price, waiting for our setup, and then we execute. I can take a look at DXY and EU. I'm going to do that here in the NASDAQ tab. So the DXY on a 1 minute time frame. Let's look at it on a 1 hour time frame. The XY open up with a pretty bearish new day opening gap. If we look at it on a daily time frame, we see the same thing. So we consolidate consolidated for a long time here without taking this new high. Open up with a new day opening gap right here. Wednesday, Thursday, we're below Tuesday's low, which is the current low of the week. So the XY is at the low of the week. We would be expecting EU to currently be at the high of the week. Sorry, I'm on a daily time frame. Let's see if EU already cleared that Tuesday's high. No, it did not yet, so potential is there. Could be a displacement with a bearish fair value gap for a continuation lower. While on the DXY we had made a lower low, so we do have SMT divergence between the two. EU didn't take the high, while DXY took out a low. In a perfect world, we expect them to do exactly the same. But the DXY took sell side, paired with a bullish fair value gap, paired with, really a high probability order block. Our breaker block, we already tapped into that here on the 5 minute, which could really help the DXY to take out some buy side. We're at the low of the day, looking for long series preferred. And if we translate that to EU, we're at the high of the day, looking for shorts would be, I'm not sure, could be a good bet, really. Taking some internal sell side liquidity. Not sure if it's going to remain the high of the day and we're going to run for London sell side liquidity. We could, don't have to. But yeah, I'd say this is a pretty good 2022 model. We hit the breaker block right up here. Entry on the breaker. Stop loss little bits above the high. Target some sell side. Would take some partials off here. Start to manage my risk once we close below the slow. Paired with the bearish fair value gap. Paired with the SMT divergence. If we compare it to the DXY. The DXY, if you remember, made a lower low here. We basically see exactly the same setup if we simply invert our scale. But the DXY, likely being bullish, would lead us to believe that we could get a movement to the downside on the stocks and therefore the indices as well. So we keep an eye on that. Bullish fair value gap. This would really be my market structure shift right here. We took daily buy side liquidity. We have a bullish fair value gap up here. And there goes the displacement. I very much like that. Breaker block would be hard to tell here. DXY is pushing up, EU is pushing lower. We have SMT divergence between SN and Q. Yeah, and Q didn't take the high out just yet. Hard to call this a breaker block, really. But it's a market structure shift if we close below, and we just did. I'm going to place a limit order right here on this candle. Stop loss right here at the high. Targeting sell side. If that trade hits, I'm done for the day. I will be hanging out here with you a little bit, but tonight I'm heading to the spa, to the sauna to be precise. Chilling, relaxing after a good trading week. MSS bearish. Now we have a bearish fair value gap that's overlapping with a inversion fair value gap right here. A little bit slow on that one. Did we get tapped?
Order filled.
middle line, inversion fair value gap, £10, content with enough, 5-minute time frame inside a bullish fair value gap, £5, quick 5 points, $250. Wouldn't complain about that either. Got the SMT divergence, got the DXY on our side. Looks like a pretty good setup. If I can get the chance, I might add right here. Have an inversion fair value gap right here. Positive 1 standard deviation to potentially hold. But keep in mind, on the higher time frame, this could simply be a bullish fair value gap bounce. So I think adding on to this wouldn't be a good idea. Just yet we can still see how price is moving inside this bearish fair value gap. Let me actually change its color. For you see a close above, I cut my risk early. Bearish fair value gap, 50%. Get rid of this, keep it nice and clean. £5 would already come in at, let me measure, back inside the volume imbalance right here. I might just be going for these 5 points, 429.25. I'm happy with that, up 500 if it works out. Otherwise down back to break even on the take profit trader account, 5.5 points. We'll see. DXY is still pushing up. We just hit the breaker block, the low of this candle. Overlapping with the inversion fair value gap inside the bearish fair value gap. We do not have any bearish fair value gaps above us. Where our pump, market structure shift, bearish fair value gap should be the low risk entry ICT talked about in his 2023 mentorship video yesterday. Bottom right. Let's watch this low if we can take that out after hitting the breaker. But we didn't really see the momentum continue after the market structure shift. Right now we're just moving sideways really. You would like to see that momentum continuation. We could be playing around with these inefficiencies here before we deliver lower. We have the new hourly candle opening in 11 minutes. And that's also the beginning of the 9:50 to 10:10 macro. So we want to keep an eye on that. If we immediately see a strong bullish push, we'll see how we deal with that. But now our main job, our main objective is to not worry too much. It's just one trade. You can't expect to win 10 out of 10. If you happen to lose one, that's normal. It's a good opportunity. We took the same one basically yesterday on ES, also at the high of the day. looking for 5 or 10 points. Volume imbalance unfilled. We're at the 50% of our bearish fair value gap. Like we said, we're inside a 5-minute bullish fair value gap. This is our old high. We kept respecting it with the candle closes. Let's see if this 1-minute candle is going to close. Doop-doop-doop. DXY pulling back. Take a look at NQ. NQ already took the low right here. What's YM doing? YM had a nice displacement. Sort of a whipsaw pattern right here. Euro continued lower. Already took the sell side, so I would have taken some partials here. Mm-hmm. 5-minute time frame, nothing really here. Still looks bullish, no bearish fair value gaps. So we keep that in mind if we're on the 1-minute time frame here. If we see enough reason to get out of the trade, which for me would be a close above this inversion and this bearish fair value gap, I'd simply get out of that trade. Not what I would like to see in the short, or when I'm short. Nice rejection from this breaker block paired with the inversion, paired with our daily buy side liquidity. That's what we would want to see. Of course, that's also the area where you could add to your position. I'm not really in the mood to add size to the trade. Already in profit for the day on the account. I got in right on the positive 1 standard deviation. We just now filled this unfilled volume imbalance. Continue to push up higher. Take a look at the DXY and NQ. YM. NQ is also pushing. Now we closed above the 50% of this bearish fair value gap here on a 1 minute. Keep an eye on that. Took out the high. Like right we said, this is our breaker. Now we close back above this old bullish fair value gap after initially holding resistance here. Making higher highs and higher lows here on the 1 minute time frame. Just gonna open the window, it's getting pretty warm in here. Yeah. Take a look at NQ. Still playing, so right now bullish SMT divergence because yes, didn't take that low, I think, 5 minute time frame. Nope, NQ took already this low while ES didn't. But ES also has been a stronger one so far today. DXY rejected. Close with a rejection wick. Now it's 9:55. In 5 minutes we get that new hourly candle. 5 minute time frame. new hourly candle. We could either see the continuation or we hit our target. We will see. Let's see if we have any questions on YouTube. Nope, nothing new. We keep on pushing, making these higher highs and higher lows. Like we said, if we close above here, I'm getting out of the trade. Not really interested in that, because then this bearish fair value gap would really turn into a inversion fair value gap. We close above our breaker block and also above this inversion fair value gap. And then I don't think we have much more to potentially hold us, especially going into that next hourly candle, to take out this buy side liquidity above here. If we take a look at our retracement, we are right now above the 50%. Use the ICT fib retracement. Optimum trade entry comes in right here, but without any structure behind it. Like we said, this is only a 1 minute setup. While the 5 minute time frame is still bullish, we have no indication that it's bearish. Right now, we just retraced into a 5 minute bullish fair value gap, and we're pushing out of it. So we're gonna keep an eye on that. See if we close above here. In case we do, I'm getting out. Can always get back in if I want to, but if not, then price is likely gonna run for the high. We can see how we are playing with these highs. So now we closed above the breaker block. We still didn't close above our main bearish fair value gap. Let me get rid of this daily fair value gap here, because that's sort of messing it up a little. That's our daily buy side liquidity, which we took. Market structure shift. Higher highs and higher lows. Yeah, still looking okay. Stop loss is going to be right here at this high. What's the DXY doing? Still pulling back. NQ initially continued lower, but now again pushing up. How many points is that from the entry? 8.5. Oh. We'll see. Do we get to close above? No, but we close right at the high. We sort of have some trend line here. One, two, three touches. Usually broken very swiftly. How many more minutes until the new hour? I really have to go to the bathroom again. Yeah. Screw it. Sit through it. Breaker block, let me extend that because we get the new hourly candle soon. That's a bearish fair value gap. This inversion is not that interesting anymore. Starting to break the trend line. We have this inversion. We took external liquidity. We would expect some sort of internal to be taken. New hourly candle with some yellow folder news. Let's see how it's gonna treat us. Right now there's not much I can do. That's why I'm not talking too much. keeping ourselves calm. And we get the push with the new hourly candle if we immediately close above. That's the no-go for me. And Q still with the bearish S&T divergence, so it could really push through these relative equal highs after having taken the sell side. And yes, just bouncing off the 5-minute here. Still holding, but we closed above the bearish fair value gap. So now what would we expect? Support right here, continuation into the SPY side. I'm just gonna let this trade play out. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. We'll see how it goes when I'm back. And there we are. Close the window. Oh, still looking good. I expect it to be stopped out by now, to be really honest. Let me see if we have any questions on YouTube. Nope. Oh, 30 viewers. Awesome. Guys, let me know if you have any questions. I stream live every day. Here on ES, here on YouTube for free. And on Discord without ads and all that stuff. Okay, we're getting another push. So I might still get stopped here. And Q. Struggling, really. And like we said at the beginning of the stream, I'm on a decent run. I mean, the last losing trade is around 26. Yeah, almost, yeah. I haven't had a losing day or losing trade this week. And eventually they're gonna come. And once they come, you just have to deal with it. It's part of it. We make money by risking money. Like many other businesses. They buy huge quantities, try to sell them. It's also some kind of a risk, depending on the product you're selling. You're afraid to take the risk, well, you also likely won't get rewarded by not taking it. We have a valid 2022 model on the 1-minute time frame, but still valid. 5-minute time frame, we're just in a 5-minute bullish fair value gap. Still being in the uptrend, but I don't know, we're being held up here. We still hold this inversion fair value gap, which comes right with our daily buy-side liquidity pool. Above that, we don't really have much other than a few volume imbalances. We could add to the position here, but don't really feel the need to do that. We could, but nah. I think I'm exposing myself then to too much of a risk at this stage for the funded account. I got in relatively low-hanging fruit entry, right at the low of the fair value gap, because could have also used maybe an optimum trade entry, but yeah, more often than not, I prefer to enter on my low of the fair value gap. Even though if that means I have to suffer a little bit of drawdown. Right now, this is our current range between this high and this low. I like how it's respecting the inversion paired with the bearish fair value gap, even though we closed above the bearish, theoretically turning into a inversion fair value gap. We will see. We could drive ourselves nuts here, but I don't know. I don't think it's really worth that mental capital. Like we said, eventually we have to deal with a losing trade. Once we get there, that's it. If this trade is done and I either get stopped out or hit my take profit target, I don't think I will continue for much longer. Like said, I'm going to the sauna today, taking an early weekend. I will not trade tomorrow with NFP news and all that stuff. Pretty good trading week on the Apex funded accounts and the take profit trader account. We will see how we end today. I would prefer a 10-point target. We will see. We took the low. We start to reject. We're almost out of our drawdown. In terms of standard deviations, what we always here do when we take the 2022 model, we measure our last manipulation, our market structure shift, and use the ICT standard deviations. 1.5 would roughly take us to the previous week's high. Would be healthy because we mainly run buy side liquidity. Now we get the 2022 model at the high for the continuation lower. Maybe, we'll see. We just took out some short-term lows of this little slow and steady uptrend. So maybe taking some sell side before it wants to go to buy side. We do not want to see that. We ideally want to see it close back below the bearish fair value gap to target at least as low. Who's in with me on this trade? I get to that question afterwards. There's a mouse in the house. I don't know why I'm singing this song. It's just in my head right now. I'm not sure when I heard it. Keeping myself distracted, really. So we closed below the bearish value gap. That's what we would have liked to see. We took out some more lows. So what we don't want to see is now a strong push back above it. That would just indicate to me that we're not going to continue any lower. Took out highs, now we took out lows. If we see that push, I think we likely take the high. Once again in Q, took out some more lows, while ES is still holding up here. I mean, look at it. So ES is really presenting some strength today. Bullish volume imbalance. Let's see, we want to see that capitulation now anytime soon. We had the retracement, continuation. We have our standard deviations of our market structure shift. We measure our pullback. Yeah, for potential targets. We could measure our initial displacement for potential targets. We can see how nicely they align at the previous week's high. We also have the VWAP sitting there. And like we spoke about it at the beginning of the stream, the VWAP is always a nice baseline for price to retrace, and we haven't seen that touch since the London Open, basically. Since then we've spent time above the VWAP, so I think that's highly possible that we could see this target being hit. NQ is also dipping, DXY is pumping after a long time of sitting through this. So a good potential to add to the position. But like I said, I'm really not that far away from passing the account now. And why take that additional risk, resetting myself back to, I don't know, $1,000 in profit, having to work all the way back up. Just take low risk trades and continue. I'm gonna trail my stop loss above this high now. We took out this sell side. This would be the next target. The DXY is still pushing. NQ is still continuing lower. That's what we would also like to see on ES. We're still inside this 5-minute bullish fair value gap. So the target being this low, 5-minute sell side, paired with the previous week's high. I might even secure after 5 points. We will see how I feel. I like how we respected all the areas we drew up. We just took that sell side right here, back inside our daily volume imbalance. I am but in better position. Nice. Yeah, like I said, not really willing to risk a lot here. I'm not sure. But risk is always very individual. It's, yeah. Everyone has a different risk tolerance, especially when it comes to getting closer to passing the funded account or the challenge. And that's the way I manage it. Like we said, could have added right here at the 50%. I initially had a sell limit right here. We could have added on the inversion, on the optimum trade entry. Could have added 10 contracts here if we want to. And now already be chilling in profit. We're already up 150 bucks, and yeah, really, we will see. I really want to see it continue lower now. EU is continuing lower, almost at our target from the 2022 model that we outlined. DXY is still pushing to the upside. This would be the relative low. NQ is pushing lower. ES is struggling. Would like to see a close below this low now. Nice. They're not that hard to get a good entry on this one. I just don't like when I have my entry placed here and price is so bearish at the high of the weekday, blah, 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 that I miss my entry by 1 tick. So I always place it at the low. Make sure I get filled. Because most of the time what's actually happening, if I do not get filled and we continue lower, I try to jump in down here somewhere, getting in at a terrible price. And yeah, most of the time ending up taking a unnecessary loss. While I found a solution to that problem, which is take the easiest entry at the low of the fair value gap, and this will prevent any of the possible future mistakes that I can make. There's always a problem and a way to solve the problem. And Q took the low. Come on, ES, would ya? Pull yourself together. Still have this bearish fair value gap here. Now we're rejecting. 5 points of that mid entry would have been hit. Yeah, 6.5 even. We don't have any new bearish inefficiencies right here on this continuation to the downside. We just took out the low. We closed below it. We hit this bullish fair value gap right here, the daily volume imbalance. Yeah, we'll see. If we see a strong push back above this 50% level, it's going to be my exit with a little bit of a loss. It's better than getting completely stopped out. It's still worth the risk for the continuation lower. NQ took the low, DXY did not take out the high yet. Yeah, really, there's not much more that you could do here in this scenario. I usually like to, in this case, set my stop, set my take profit target, and I don't know, take my dog for a walk, or simply anything other than sitting in front of the chart. I mean, there's nothing that you can do anyway to prevent any of the possible outcomes, which is losing, winning. Most of the time we already saw our profit. Once it gets back to our break even, we exit early. Try to avoid that. Let's take a look at NQ here. Also pushing back up. We're starting to get bullish momentum with a bullish inefficiency, bullish volume imbalance. We bounce off the bullish fair value gap back above our initial entry. Now we're getting closer to the 50% of our bearish fair value gap. Like I said, close above is the invalidation for me, because then we could see more sort of a high pullback continuation on the higher time frame. The higher time frame rules. We didn't get the opportunity here on, yes, we got it on NQ. We can still see that NQ is much weaker than ES. Yeah, so be it. Yes, really wasn't willing to continue any lower here. Yep, and we're getting a strong push. We got the close above, and that's my exit.
Order filled.
So after taking out all the sell side that we spoke about, what do we get? A strong bullish momentum right here. 5-minute candle. There's a 5-minute bullish fair value gap, but also on the 5 we only swept. We will keep an eye on it. If we get another opportunity and we saw this was just a fake out, then yeah, I can jump back on the train, but right now I think it's more likely that we're gonna go for a buy side after we took sell side. Right up here and right here. Take a look at NQ. NQ inside a 5-minute bearish actually. The DXY also pulling back. Bullish volume imbalance right here. If we would still have bearish inefficiencies here, yeah, I think that would be a different scenario then. Would still kept on holding here, but we do not. And all we did, what did we do most recently here? We shifted structure, we pulled back, leaving behind higher highs and higher lows. We cleared all these higher lows right here with this move to the downside. Once we took out the slowest low, hitting the daily volume imbalance again, what did we do? We immediately got bullish momentum again to the upside, leaving behind bullish inefficiencies. This is a switch to bullish order flow. What do we expect in bullish order flow to happen after having taken sell side? After failing to take out higher time frame liquidity, like for example NQ did. buy side liquidity, resting right here and right here. We will see if I'm right. Chance is there. And in the end of the day, it all comes down to risk management. We close above the 5-minute bearish fair value gap right here. Also something that we wouldn't like to see, being in a short on the 1 minute. We took out a 5-minute low, still inside this 9:30 opening. Bullish fair value gap, closing above it. 1 minute time frame. Putting in place more and more bullish order flow. Bullish volume imbalance, bouncing off the 50% after closing above it, which was my exit sign. Still in a positive day for now. Let's watch it taking buy side. Then maybe another pullback before we continue to the next high, putting some sort of a head and shoulders in place, an inverted one. Let's see if we get the first close above our inversion fair value gap right here. 3, 2, 1. Yep, we do. And we started seeing it once we close above the 50%. Of course, it depends on your entry. If you entered up here, this could have been 10 points. Almost 10 points into the downside. Now I would expect support from this area again to run this buy side. 5 points. No, not worth the risk. Too much potential that we continue a bit lower. I would like to see this buy side being taken. Take a look at NQ. Also pushing the XY. Going up again. Yeah. 10:30 is gonna be right here. That's a good thing about tape reading. When you're in a position and you see order flow going really against you here, bullish inefficiency, we fill it, we go back up, up, up. Is it worth it to sit through order drawdown again? In my opinion, not. The probability is just too high that we simply continue higher to run buy side. Not always, but I'd say most of the time it is. And that's enough for me to, yeah, exit the trade. If I see it potentially still wanting to drop, I can always enter again. But right now, what would we expect from these bullish fair value gaps right here in this inversion fair value gap? Support. Exactly. Five-minute. Now, I'm really playing with traders here. 15-minute. 15-minute bullish fair value gap filled. Bullish volume imbalance. Continuation to the upside. 15-minute high, 15-minute high. 1 minute time frame. Tapped. 50% again. Rejected. You can see that the NQ is really rejecting here, but yeah, it's just too much of a difference between the indices to really say something with meaning. NQ already took out this low, retrace a little, yeah, it's just too much of a difference. Right now, I would simply trust order flow and order flow right now is bullish. Period. We took sell side. We retraced close above our fair value gap that offered perfect resistance to take that liquidity. Immediately had a nice pump back up the same way that as we had this drop. This looks like a V-shaped recovery, which is usually created when enough traders are short, quickly trying to stop hunt them, and traders going short, having to buy back to exit their positions, actually only accelerates the movement back to the upside. Sort of playing with the thought of putting a long in here. But I don't know, it's not worth the risk. For me right now at least. No, there's no proper setup behind it. Other than reading order flow. If I would be on my paper account, I would try this long, but not on my almost funded one. Be back shortly. Nice, and there we go. We took that buy side liquidity, just as we spoke about. And yeah, I'd say the issue with most traders not wanting to accept that they were in a potential losing position, they just maybe keep on adding, or yeah, are in disbelief. 2022 model, it has to play out. No, it does not. Always, 100% of the time. And with the help of order flow, we were able to say that we're likely going to see buy side being targeted here. Still, really, for me, not worth the entry here on the take profit trader account. I spoke about it. It was pretty obvious if you're still on the trade and the short. And yeah, like I said, you're wondering why it didn't work out. Well, we saw it right here. We took sell side. We immediately got that push back up, retested the bullish fair value gap, and done. Simple as that. And have I been right? Yep. Could I have entered on this continuation since I had the analysis backing all this up? Yep. But I stick to my rules. Being consistent is worth more to me than making profit. I take the 2022 model on this account. Yeah, VGCA, the 2022 model on EU maybe was the better option, but I don't trade EU. I only focus on trading one asset. If I switch between charts, it's just making the entire process more rushed, more hectic. I don't care. I focus on ES. It provides more than enough. Today I lost some of the profits I made during London, but it's really okay. I do not have an issue with that. You can see the winning streak of all the 2022 setups that I took. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Who cares? So, but instead of losing, 8.5 points from my entry. I managed to get out somewhere around this area, because at this point in time, even when I saw this push, I said, if we close above the 50% here, we're gonna take this buy side, and we will see if we might still continue to this buy side. What happened? Exactly that. $10 points. Not bad, not bad. It's 10:30 now, so a new 15-minute candle, like we spoke about, 15-minute bullish, 5-minute bullish. This is why I was already, sort of hesitant once I saw, okay, we took that sell side. We immediately pushed back up because the higher time frame still rules. We have the SMT divergence between ES and NQ right here, forming a lower low on ES while forming a higher low on NQ. EU continue to take that low. Perfect. This would have been a nice 3-to-1 risk reward trade based on the 2022 model. We outlined that. If you trade EU, maybe you've taken that trade. I only trade ES. NQ, yep, DXY, also exactly right outlined. But unfortunately, the DXY and ES weren't in harmony today. Alright guys, do you have any more questions? Because I think that's gonna be the end for today's New York live stream. Like I said, if I get stopped out here. Yeah, I think it's just more about sticking to your rules and sticking to your plan than it is about making profit. If you stick to your rules and to the plan, profit should be a natural byproduct. If your main target is profit, and you don't reach that target on a specific day, you end up over trading, making more mistakes, eventually blowing the account because your goal or your entire plan is profit. So what's if the plan fails? What if you're in drawdown? It's still profit and you take more and more trades. So yeah, really that consistency for me is worth more than making profit. This is not the 2022 model long here, right? At this point in time. That's why I kept myself from entering here, even though it offered a nice reward. I got in on the 1 minute 2022 model. Got in right here, but unfortunately didn't want to continue. I would have taken profits right around inside this regular trading hours opening gap. We didn't even touch it after opening. We immediately continued further to the upside. And sometimes it's simply like that. The DXY is still pushing up. EU should still continue lower. That's very nice to see. So guys, do you have any more questions today? 10:30. Otherwise, this will be the end of the stream. Let me check Discord. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Fresky. Thank you very much too. Alright guys, take care and enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, I will see you next week. Maybe I do a spontaneous stream tomorrow. I will keep everyone up to date on the Discord. And yeah, thanks very much for joining in. We will see each other either Monday or tomorrow on NFP Friday. But I don't really think I'm gonna trade there. Maybe for the Discord members during the London session. We will see. Alright guys, take care. And enjoy the weekend. Bye.